Hey, Bravehearts, thanks for your patience. And guess what? We're here with Jim Gale, and we're going to talk about food for abundance. And guess what? You know what? You know how I go around talking about how you got to become your own practitioner? How you got to become your own doctor? Well, you better become your own grocery store. What do you think, Jim?
Oh my gosh, I could not agree more, Dr. Wolfe. And we are going to show everybody how easy it is to live absolutely free.
Now, Jim, where are you right now? Where is your land? Where are you? And I want some background to let everybody know, okay, what is your mission? When did you start this? And what is it that you think that you would like to accomplish?
Well, Napoleon Hill, after studying the most successful minds in the history of the world, he deducted whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. So I'm going for it. What I conceive and believe is that we are going to inspire and empower the masses. We are going to create such an awareness of what's possible that we are going to catalyze a shift that leads to mass adoption of growing food instead of lawns. There are 44 million acres of lawn in the United States alone. When we transition 50% of our lawns into edible, regenerative landscapes that don't have poisons and that grow food using nature's or God's systems, when we do that, we reverse deforestation and mass extinction. We reverse cancer and diabetes and heart disease trends. We reverse tyranny and we end world hunger simply by using our resources wisely.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something. So what you're saying is that everybody needs to consider turning their backs on the man, turning their backs on government, turning their backs on corporations. Now, to be realistic, let's just know this, that most people live in so much fear that they can't even think straight. But guess what? For those people that actually could take the time and actually say, I'm going to take massive personal action and understand something. If you're going to let somebody else feed you, they're going to poison you. If you're going to let somebody else feed you, they're going to poison you. If you let somebody else be your health care, they're going to sell you off by the pound. Jim, what do you think?
That is not just a hypothetical statement. That's a fact. And Henry Kissinger, back 50 years ago, he said, if you want to control people, control food. Now, this isn't just the ramblings of some psychopath. Who talks about controlling people anyway? A psychopath. This is the man who has met with every U.S. president. This is the man who appointed Klaus Schwab, who says we are going to own nothing and be happy. So that's the problem. But the good news is that in permaculture, which is a agricultural design science, we learn to turn the problem into the solution. The problem is poisonous food growing in a way that is destroying our world. In fact, the agriculture taught in colleges and universities over the last several generations has been the most destructive teaching practice in the history of our world. That's the bad news. The good news is that when we start loving ourselves, when we raise up to the energy of faith and courage, my friends, is the energetic foundation of freedom. And anything other than that is the withdrawal of source, of spirit, of energy, and of creativity. So rise up to faith and courage and then start growing food instead of lawns, and we be free.
And you know what? What everybody needs to understand is this, okay? 90% of the food that's eaten today did not exist 90 years ago. 90% of all the diseases, every one of those autoimmune diseases that you think is a life-threatening illness, did not exist 90 years ago. So do the math. So the reality is that you've got to turn back the hands of time and you've got to take your power back. You know what? What you eat matters. What you think matters. What you drink matters. And the reality is everything's going to boil down to frequency. And understand, if somebody is feeding you, they're going to want to give you the lowest frequency vibration into your body, because if they do that, guess what? Then does anybody really wonder why that zombie movies are the most popular on TV? What do you think, Jim?
Oh man, yeah, I really love you, Dr. Wolfe. I've been a big fan of your work, and you are nailing it. And frequency is something I talk a lot about. Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And I'm going to change one word there. Don't think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Bring your attention from your head down to your heart and to your stomach, and feel, experience in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. When we learn to feel the frequency and to hear it and to experience it, that's when we can start becoming aware. In fact, it was Victor Hugo who said there's one thing stronger than all of the armies of the world, and that is an idea whose time has come. Well, what is an idea? An idea comes from the gap in between the thoughts. Another word for thoughts is programs. Most people don't have genuine thoughts that are source-based. They have programs that were instilled in our mind by the programmers, by these people who are controlling the world through their mass media control. So again, that's the bad news. The good news is that once we learn to take our energy into our hearts and stomachs and to free our minds, then the ideas, the faith, the courage, the joy will come back.
Absolutely. And what if I wanted to come and visit your beautiful garden? Where is it, Jim? And can we come, and how can people participate in your passion, purpose, and your mission?
Yes, and that's what's so much fun about it all. We're here at Gulf's Landing in Central Florida. In fact, on the 24th, which is my birthday, I am going to be doing a little tour, and I'm going to be showing people the symbology and the experience of what it's like to be completely off-grid and free. And I will be standing next to this statue. This statue is the ultimate artistic representation of I will take it no more. No more force and violence. I just think it's so beautiful. It's just delivered yesterday. And if anybody out there wants to grow food, our company is Food Forest Abundance. And we exist to help people grow food, which is the same as growing freedom. We launched 19 months ago on the high wire with Del Bigtree. We are now serving people in 15 countries and in almost every U.S. state. We are creating Freedom Farm Academies, which are food, forest, and freedom demonstration sites all around the world. Lebanon and Thailand and Ghana and Sri Lanka and all over North America. So if you're interested in participating in growing freedom, well, get a hold of us. That's what we do.
And that's what it is. You know what? We unknowingly gave our power away. I get it. No guilt, no shame. The reality is guess what? We've all been dumbed down and made to believe we're too stupid to care for ourselves. We're too stupid to feed ourselves. And guess what? If they can accomplish this, that's called slavery, guys. That's slavery. And that's why you see people doing things like putting diapers on their face and hiding their beautiful, powerful smile. You know, I tell people that the only thing that's going to get you through is if you wear protection, and that protection is your smile. And if people cannot see your smile, then they cannot feel your spirit. And we are spirit energy beings. And understand, when you eat a high vibrational, whole plant-based diet, you are having living foods give up their life, give up their energy to you to bring your frequency up so that you can detoxify everything that vibrates below that. What do you think, Jim?
Oh, that's so right on. You know, people ask me about growing trees. The truth is, I've never grown a tree in my life. I don't grow the tree. I simply provide the design where the trees and the plants and the edibles can have a home. So that's what we do in permaculture. We design edible landscapes. We use the permaculture principles, which again are not the hypothetical solution to all of the world's biggest problems, but the demonstratable solution. And it all starts with a thoughtful permaculture design that layers in the guilds. So yes, I couldn't agree more, buddy.
So again, I'm going to bring you back to this. If I wanted to get involved in what you're doing, let's say I lived in another country, what can I do? What can I access? How can I create to actually join forces with you?
I love it. So get a hold of us at foodforestabundance.com, and we have a network of people all over the world. We actually have 1,500 abundance ambassadors now. And by the way, we have no non-competes, no patents, and no NDAs. Our company exists to change the world. I've got 4 daughters. And when I saw clearly through my real eyes what was happening around the world, I made it my duty, my joyful obsession to do this. And that's what's inspiring so many people to join us. So get a hold of us at foodforestabundance.com, whether you have fiat that you want to turn into food. And I'll give you an example of this. This papaya tree cost us about $25 to put into the ground. In the first 9 months, we've got probably $100+ worth of papaya on this tree. You know, you can count the seeds. Excuse me, I'm still eating great food. You can count the seeds in a single apple, but you cannot count the apples in a single seed. God's plan, nature's plan, is infinitely abundant, and the returns on investment are stacked to the max.
Beautiful, beautiful. And now anybody that's on listening, if you've got any questions on Facebook or Rumble, please type them in. I can read them off for Jim, or if anybody wants to give me a call, you can call me. This is a Canadian US direct phone number, and it's 469-861-9454, or you can call me at 855-900-4544 extension 5, and we can come on and you can ask Jim any questions. Now, Jim, what do you see will be your goal for the next year? Okay.
Yes. We want to open up 100 Freedom Farm Academies around the world. And Freedom Farm Academy, again, is a demonstration site that demonstrates all of the different functional components of freedom.
Yeah, but okay, if I wanted to do that, Jim, tell me the steps. Because guess what? People want to know how they can take massive personal action. And I'm going to tell you something, everybody, whether you believe this or not. When you get into self-love and self-care like this, okay, these psychos are going to crap their pants because they cannot overcome a frequency called self-love and self-care. You are pulling away from them. And I'm telling you right now, everybody, you need to ignore every authoritarian. You need to ignore all government. You need to ignore everybody that believes that they are an authority over you, because there's no authority over you. There is no authority over you on this planet. And I'm putting it out there to all you psychos and bullies, okay? You know where I am, so why don't you just come on and see what... They can't do anything, everybody. All they can do is threaten and make you crap your drawers, like Klaus said. We're gonna break your doors down and take your kids. Let me tell you something, Klaus, okay? That's all you got is a bully tactic, and that's what they use. Remember, false evidence appearing real. If I can create the illusion that the boogeyman is always waiting for you to step out of line, understand something. Guess what? Don't bend the rules. Don't break the rules. Only have one rule: unconditional love for yourself and for this planet. Okay? Because they want you to hate this or hate that, or judge this or judge that. Mind your own business and say, I've got a passion, I've got a dream, and I'm only going to focus on that. So how do I start this? How do I get involved? You say you want to make 100 of these.
Yes. So, and we've already got about 15 committed around the world. So start by reaching out, and we've got a free 30-minute food forest strategy session. Anybody who wants to call in and hear about the different ways that you can be involved in creating self-reliance for yourself. And you mentioned fear. Everybody's heard the metaphor or the story that the vampire cannot come into your house unless you invite them in. Fear is the invitation. Fear is the open doorway. So the first thing we get to do is let go of the fear. And from there, get a hold of us and we will walk you through the process at whatever level you are at. We will help you take yourself to the next level.
How am I getting a hold of you?
Foodforestabundance.com.
Okay. And what if I had other talents or other services? Are you looking for people that might help you out in the IT part of it, or the graphics part of it, or the media part of it? I mean, what is it that everybody can do? Because look, let me tell you something, Jim. I mean, look at how honorable this is, everyone. This is what it is, This is what it is. I'm going to tell you something. The day that you wake up and you go, everybody is my brother and sister, everybody on this planet, I will not spill another drop of blood. I will not judge anyone for anything. Okay? And you know what? That monument that he has is like, I made that. You know what? We are going to stop going to war with ourselves. We're going to stop going to war with each other. Okay? And understand, Black Lives Matter. This matters, that matters. We all matter. Listen to me, I'm not picking on anyone, but the reality is this. All they want to do is just keep us busy, okay? Because hate and judgment is bubblegum for, guess what? A mind that is based on judgment.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And it's so joyful to step into this next phase of your life. It's time for leaders to step up and lead. And guess what? Everybody listening to this call is a leader. And whatever resourcefulness or resources that you have, it's time to direct those resources towards first your own self-reliance. Then once you've created self-reliance for yourself, then your family's self-reliance. To be the leader and the inspiration for others is joyful and beneficial and healing on every level.
Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you something. The biggest problem that people are going to give up is their addictions. So why don't you take a look, everyone, what you do in your spare time? What if you were growing an inside or outside garden in your spare time? What if you were doing things like that? Everybody, take a look what you do in your spare time. And also take a look through your cupboards and take a look at all your addictions. And then you can ask yourself, how hard will it be to do the flip switch to self-love and self-care? So Jim, you know that I'm going to be traveling all around the world, right?
Yes.
We've got 40 New World Practitioner certification trainings all around the world in the next 11 months. And that's what we are doing. We decided that Darrell wasn't going to stay home because nobody's shutting us down. Nobody's shutting us up. We're going to go out there, and what I'm going to do, you're proving that everybody can become their own gardener. Everyone can feed themselves. And I'm going out and telling everyone that they need to become their own doctor, their own practitioner. And guess what? I'm going to tell you something, Jim. Between you teaching people to become their own doctor and you teaching people to become their own gardener and me telling them that they can become their own doctor, guess what? The only thing that's going to be open is an emergency clinic, not hospitals. Hospitals are only open because we are emotionally crippled first, and then we become physically crippled, and then we become addicted to drugs because we've never learned how to master our emotions. So then the psychological rules the biological, creating so much pain and inflammation that you go to so-called doctors where they do not give you herbs and true healing and true plant. What they give you is they give you petroleum. And that's what all drugs are made out of is petroleum. So why don't you just go down to your local Shell station or Esso and then put that thing in your mouth? And the reality is this, they say to us, the majority, they say they are so stupid, we don't have to hardly do anything. And the reality is when you learn about self-care and self-love, unconditional love for yourself and everyone else, and it takes work. It takes work because guess what? The hardest job you're ever going to do is let yourself off the hook and love yourself completely and forgive yourself, because we've been taught that guess what? We got to go walk around forgiving everybody all the time. Well, why did we judge them in the first place? Jim?
Yeah. Yes. I love it, buddy. I just love your energy, and I'm so glad that we connected. And I know we are going to inspire millions and possibly billions of people to take responsibility for that of themselves and their kids and their families. It's such a beautiful thing.
Turn us off. If you'd like to ask Jim a question, please turn off your computer. If you'd like to ask Jim a question, please.
Hi, it's Drew. We spoke earlier.
Yes, Drew. How can I help you?
I'm just trying to get some direction on what to do with my limited budget.
Drew, that we can do that another time. Drew, if you have a limited budget, you might want to give Jim a call and find out how to grow a garden. That's the first thing. But you're going to have to give me a call back, Drew, and we'll take this further another time. So I just want to say this. What would your reaction be? Here's RE, and they say, as much as this sounds good, Jim, things will never, ever change for the best. Only God can make these changes for the best. What do you think, Jim?
Well, a couple things. One is, who is growing these plants? I just said that I'm not growing these plants. God is growing these plants. I'm just giving them a home to grow. I'm saying, please grace me with your presence. I'm not saying that I have anything magical to do here. I'm simply following the principles of permaculture, which is God's design for the Garden of Eden for our world. And related to the fella that wants to start on a budget, here's what you could do. If you have $20, you can go to the organic section of your fruit and veggie aisle, and you can pick your favorite fruits and veggies as long as they still have seeds in them. And then you can eat the food, and then you could take the seeds out, tomatoes and cucumbers and squash and all of the different stuff. And then you can go online and you can look up, how do I grow tomatoes? If you're in Minnesota, how do I grow tomatoes indoors? And guess what? It's right there in front of you. So it's so easy to start this process on whatever budget that makes sense. If you want to speed up time, then we suggest starting with a permaculture design.
And if I can state something here, RE, thanks for your statement, but I'm going to say something, and you may not like it or you may be okay with it. The reality is, guess what? It takes teamwork. Unless I'm going to take massive personal action on a physical level, being a physical being, okay, I can pray to God all day long. Okay, we have all been given everything we need, because I don't need you to understand. I need you to understand that that's where it is. And unless you take massive personal action, because I think you're full of BS, a dysfunctional belief system, and this is the stuff that really cripples people, that God will take care of everything. It is called teamwork. Do you know how many people come to me and they will have a condition, whether it's an autoimmune disease or it's just a symptom that's starting to get worse, and we might call it chronic, and you know what they'll say? If it's in God's hands. And then I know that this person is never going to get well. And that's the God's truth, because the reality is we have been created, okay, to be able to create like our Creator. And the reality is, without massive personal action, God is not going to put the food on my plate. God is not going to do it. So I'm going to take the credit for massive personal action when I get off my butt and go around the world lecturing and training people how to become their own practitioner. Yes, I thank God every day for what I am and what I can become. But I know that if I don't eat right, think right, live right, and take massive personal action, and with a smile on my face, nothing else is going to happen. So let's just stop this because it's teamwork. You know, there was a thing called The Secret. And in The Secret, they told everyone that if you imagine something long enough and strong enough, it would come true. What they didn't say was it would take massive personal action. So you can either struggle and not do anything, or you can struggle and create success and a bloody miracle in front of yourself every day. Jim?
Yes, yes, yes. Inspired action is the key, right? Don't take action out of fear or scarcity unless you need to get something done right that moment. The best action, the action that will produce the biggest yield, the best results, is action that comes from a place of connectedness with spirit and source. And I call that inspired action, and it's the only kind of action I take.
Absolutely. So, on the 24th, how can I come and watch what you're going to do? Where do I go? And the 24th is Saturday, is that correct?
That's correct. It's Christmas Eve, which is my birthday.
On the 24th?
You can email us. You can get a hold of us. We're here in Central Florida.
What time are you doing this, Jim?
What was that? At noon Eastern.
Okay. All right. What do you think if we were to run it live on our channel as well?
I think that would be fantastic.
When we're done with the show here, can we talk to him about running it live on our channels? Okay? Okay, that part's done. So tell me, why do I want to watch? Why do I want to watch on Christmas Eve?
You want to watch because we are going to give inspiring and empowering content, ideas. We're going to share the whole model of how we change the world, the strategy that is coming to fruition at an exponential rate right now. As we ascend, we go through the ascension, the great awakening, all of these apocalyptic things, which simply means lifting the veil. On Saturday, I am going to help people lift the veil, not by anything that I came up with, other than this idea of putting it out there, by demonstrating the plan that I know that God intended for us.
So Jim, are you trying to tell me that I've got to be selfish enough to know how to create the perfect day for myself? And guess what? Mind my own business. And your own business would be loving, caring for yourself. What do you think?
I think selfishly serving is the sustainable and regenerative way to be. When we serve humanity in a way that also benefits ourselves, it's called the voluntary exchange of value. It's called conscious or regenerative capitalism, where you provide value and somebody sees the value, and then there's an exchange. That's what we're all about. No force and violence.
I hear you. And you just said it, no force and violence. And if I can say this, everyone, this also means that we do not attack our oppressors. We do not attack the people that have been poisoning us on every bloody level since the beginning of time. I hope you all get this, okay? You do know that that evil entity is allowed to be down here. And the reality, the name of the earth game is that you're supposed to love yourself enough to mind your own business and care for yourself, because they're not leaving. They're not going anywhere. But the reality is this: the only way you win is to mind your own business, because they're not coming for you. You know what they're coming for? They're coming for the low-hanging fruit, okay, that is ready to blow. They're coming for the person who doesn't know how to eat, think, or drink right. Because what are they doing? They're selling that person off by the pound, and because that person's in such pain and suffering, they're able to actually give them toxic drugs and say, here's your medication. When the only thing is that we need, the medication is a new education, and guess what? Jim Gale is a big part of it.
Yep. To the best of our ability, to the best of my ability. And the more I learn about what's possible, the more that I know that my abilities, just like your abilities and everybody's listening's abilities, are unlimited. They're limitless. So now step into it, and that's how together working in collaboration with nature and God's systems, being the stewards and protectors of our world. That's how we win this epic battle. Not by firing a shot. This is the revolution. This is simply turning our energy away from the poisons and the poison producers back to God's design.
That's right. I don't know a war that they ever told us we had to go fight that we should have. And the reality is there was a song written, okay, and they called a war and nobody came. And the reality is when you become important enough, you will mind your own business. Jim, where do you want to be in a year?
Well, I'm excited for our food forest to cover the whole property, 50 acres. We're on a private 400-acre lake. We've got a runway, a mile-long paved runway on the other side of this fence. And in a year, world leaders are going to be flying in here and parking their private jets in here. And we're going to be showing them what freedom looks like and how they can bring freedom back to their countries.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And just know this, everyone, that Jim Gale and his team we are going to be launching a new platform, and we are launching an app that we are going to use to touch everyone's heart around the world so that they can pass that on. It's called self-love and self-care. It's called unconditional love for our brothers and sisters, but first for ourselves, because you can't give what you're not. And the reality is we will have Jim come on every week, and he will do a 15 to 20-minute show. And guess what? He'll be there to show you what you need and to help guide the way. We're going to be having the specialists and the leaders that I believe of our time. And guess what? Isn't it kind of funny that the people that are leading the way today never wanted to be leaders? They just wanted to actually give of themselves. And you know what? When you find your gift, why don't you just do what Jim is doing and gift the whole world? And guess what? Won't it be great when everybody is minding their own business of self-love and self-care, and then the psycho elite will go, they forgot about us? Wouldn't that be great? Remember something, there's 8 billion of us, there's only a few 100,000 of them, but the reality is they believe in strategy even though they don't like each other. Isn't that something? I hate you, but I know they got to strategize with you, or we can't hog-tie this 8 billion people. So the reality is why don't you mind your own business, and for the first time in your life, totally unconditionally love yourself and see if you can spread that, okay? Like the manure that we would spread on the garden to help to enrich the growth. Jim?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Wolfe. I love you. I love everything you stand for. I love your audience. And together, let's win this thing by having joyful, wonderful, healthy lives.
How do I get in touch with you, Jim? How do I do it, buddy?
Yes. So our website is foodforestabundance.com. And get a hold of us there. We've got a whole team of people very excited and encouraged to chat with you and to help see how we can serve you. And then, of course, we know that it's a cyclical thing.
Thank you. And listen, everyone, so make sure that you go and watch his show, which will be at, what's your platform again?
We're on all the platforms, especially Unite.live and Rumble and all of the free speech platforms. I've been kicked off of YouTube, so you can't find me there anymore.
All right. Well, you'll get kicked onto our platform when we get it running. Okay?
Love it.
All right, my friend, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to have my staff get in touch with you after the show so we can make sure that we run this thing on the 24th properly. Bless you, and we've only begun to work together, Jim. God bless you.
I know it. I'm so excited. Thank you,
God bless
Dr.
you, my
Wolfe.
friend.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye now. And I want to thank everybody for joining me on Braveheart Nation, Doc of Detox show. And listen, I know how busy you are. I know how your mind is going. But I do want to say this, guys, okay? I want to see if you can practice your Lionheart breath, putting a slight smile on your face, putting your shoulders back, your chin up, okay? And understand something. You're never going to get through a holiday season without trauma, okay? Because most people are on the edge anyways. And you know, why don't you just see how emotionally balanced you are and how much trauma can happen and how you can stay connected and not buy into it. You know what? the best gift that I could give my family, my friends, and the world is not to buy into their trauma anymore. The best thing I can do is connect to my Lionheart breath, put a smile on my face, because at the end of every trauma, you've got a headache, you're exhausted, okay, and you probably have regrets. So let's see if we can have massive personal action and no reaction where we end up having to clean up a mess on an emotional and physical level this holiday season. And understand something, we're emotional beings, but guess what? When you learn to master your emotions, when you learn to stay connected to your breath, then you will become the Braveheart hero that you've been searching for. God bless and thank you. And remember, it's not healthcare, it's self-care. 3, 2, 1. You got this, Braveheart. You know, it's not good enough to have the most powerful courses, treatments, and training. We want to deliver to you the adventure of a lifetime that's going to last a lifetime. And I'm going to take you on a little adventure right now and show you what we are going to deliver. What are we going to deliver? We are going to deliver the authentic you, the real you, the genius inside. How would you like to become not just the master of your mind, but the master of your body, the master of your life? You know what? The most important world is your world, and we're about to show you how to create it. Never limit yourself to beautiful, because that's what you are. Take a look at this beautiful place. We all deserve beauty in our life. You need to create a new program that is unlimited when it comes to things that are beautiful, things that make you happy, things that make you shine, things that make you feel excited. Let's get excited. What I've learned in my life is this: to be the change you wish to be the change you wish to see, Braveheart, you have to understand you take life one step at a time. Never lose your focus. Never lose your dream, because you are the dream maker. It's called image, but guess what? It's your imagination. The image that you hold creates the thought that you live with. That thought creates an emotion that creates a frequency, and we know that the invisible creates the physical. I mean, that's quite obvious.